G'day, this is Mr. Thompson, and I'm crook today, so I won't be in to be with you. But I thought we'd get started on this project. So I'm going to give you some instructions. Now, this is my latest little invention. I came up with this on the weekend, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think you'll enjoy it as well. It's a little artillery gun that shoots a rubber band. And it's powered by an Arduino, of course. So it uses some servo motors. So that is a servo motor. And if you've done any remote control projects, you'll know that a servo motor is a type of motor that instead of spinning around and around continuously, a servo motor moves its arm to a particular location and then stops. So there's a bigger servo motor. That's the sort of servo motor that maybe you might be using in Mr. Nidek's class if you're building RC boats. That's the sort of servo motor we're going to use. And my little device here has got two servo motors. There's one servo motor here, and you might see that when that motor turns, it's going to release the rubber band and shoot the rubber band. And this servo motor here, this servo motor under here, you can see it's connected to the base with a paper clip, and when that turns it will lift. Let me show you. When I turn the knob over here on my Arduino, so I've got a little knob here that I can turn, and when I turn that knob you can see it turns the servo and it adjusts the Canon like that. And this one here, I'll come around, actually no, I can shoot from here. So if I press this button here now, it shoots the gun. So I've had a lot of fun with this, and I imagine we can have some duels or some competitions once we get these things up and running. And today I'm going to show you, see the whole thing is 3D printed, but I'm not just going to give you the design, you're going to build the design yourself. So I'm about to launch into this video, and it'll show you how to build your rubber band artillery cannon. So this is the design of the artillery gun that we're going to use, and I'll make this particular plan, this particular drawing, available in the description of this video, but I'll be referring to this from time to time as I'm drawing the model in Fusion. So if you have a copy of that next to you, then what I'm doing is probably going to make a whole lot more sense as we go. So let's get started. So when you open Fusion, by default it creates a new document. You might have a particular folder you want to put it in, so you can use these 9 dots here, or 9 squares. That opens and closes your data panel, and you can, if you click on all projects there, you can see all the projects. You can create a new project if you want. I've created a project folder for this one here. You can see I've done some practice before. So anyway, we're going to do show you how to build one from scratch. So here we go. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save it. So before I do anything, so I click on save, and what are we going to call it? We're going to call it rubber band artillery cannon. I've already got one called that, I think. Or do I? No, I don't. So I'm just going to save that like that. Okay. And you'll see in a minute that, there we go, that's changed the name up the top here. Now, my cannon's got 2 components in it. It's got the barrel, this top bit, and it's got the base underneath it. So because it's got 2 components, I'm not just going to start sketching here. I'm going to create, see, this is one component on top. Underneath that component, I need 2 subcomponents. So let's start by creating a new component for the barrel. So a new component, and we'll call this component here the barrel. We'll do that. Okay. All right. Now, this circle with the dot means that that's the active component. So it's been activated, which is good. That's what we want, because we want to work on the barrel first. Okay, I'm going to start by drawing a sketch. So I click on sketch there, and I'm going to choose this XY plane. Now I'm going to use a rectangle. So I can come up here and click on rectangle, or I can use R for rectangle.
So just press R for rectangle on my keyboard. And I'm going to come over here. You can see you can open or close this little display panel here. I'm going to choose this type of rectangle, a center rectangle, because I can come over here and I can click on the center, click and release, and then I can stretch it out. Now looking at my drawing here, I want that to be 160 by, let's see, so I just typed 160, then tab, and I want it to be 25 like that. Okay, press enter. There's the first part of my barrel. Okay, now when you want to move, you can move by using this pan tool like that, or you can click on fit, which zooms. Let me just put that out of the way again. Zoom so you can fit everything. In fact, you can put that out of the way too if you want, or bring them back in again. I'm going to leave them in actually. Or if you've got a mouse with a wheel, you can zoom in and out with the wheel. And if you're clever, what you can do by moving your mouse to different points and zooming in and out, you can move like that, which is what I tend to do rather than activate the hand tool. So, okay. All right, so let's draw some more of our sketch. So I'm going to do another rectangle. For rectangle, again, I'm going to use my center rectangle. I'm going to go from there, the midpoint there, and let's draw something that looks a bit like that. And then escape, because I've finished drawing rectangles. And let's just move this dimension out of the way a little bit. I'm just going to move that over there a bit. And this one here, see how this one's black? That's black because it's fully dimensioned and constrained. This one's blue because it's not constrained yet. We haven't given it all its dimensions. So I'm going to click on this button here. You might not have that button. If you haven't got that button, you'll probably find it under here somewhere like that. Or you can use the letter D. So D for dimension. So I'm going to use D and I'm going to say that side there, I want that to be, you know what, I'm thinking about 10 mils, 10, enter. And this side here, I want that to be, let's go 20, because that means it'll stick out 10, because that's in the center there. Okay, so that looks pretty good. All right, now the other thing I've got to do is I'm going to come over here and I've got to put this slot in here. So can you see how my mouse is still dimensioning? So I'm going to press escape. Whenever I want to stop doing something, I press escape. And sometimes you have to press escape a few times to, if you're doing a few things at once, I guess. So I'm going to do rectangle again. So click up here, or R for rectangle. Again, I'm going to come over here and use my center rectangle. I'm going to click on the center point here, and I'm just going to drag it out like that. You know what? I'm just going to do it any old distance for now. And then I'm going to press escape, and I'm going to press D for dimension. And that distance there, according to my diagram, let's put it down here. According to my diagram, or my drawing, that should be 35, like that. Let's see, this distance between here and here needs to be 5, like that. This distance between here and here, that needs to be, well, actually my drawing says 4, but I think it could be a little bit wider, so I'm going to make it 5. I think I'd like it a little bit wider. And can you see we're not yet fully defined? What do I need to do? I need that and that. Actually, I've already, hang on, escape. That's wrong. The reason that's not, if I grab this and move it, you can see why it's not fully constrained, because we haven't told it how high or how low that's got to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a constraint. I'm going to come up here and see this constraint, horizontal vertical constraint. If I click on that and then click on that point there and that point there, because they're almost horizontally aligned, it'll make them properly horizontal aligned. So when I click there, okay. So there, it means that those and those have to sort of line up horizontally. Now that everything's black there, so that's good. So escape there. Now if I was an inventor, I guess, I would finish the sketch and extrude. But in Fusion, I can just click E for extrude. I don't have to finish the sketch, and that will automatically finish the sketch for me and open up the extrude tool. So I want to extrude that bit and that bit and that bit, all of those. I want to turn those shapes into a 3D object. I'm just going to use my view cube over here and drag it so that I can change the view. And I'm going to go down by, let's see, how far do I want to go? I don't want to go 5 mils. I want to go 3 mils. So type 3. Oh, now that went up. I want it to go down, so I want to do -3, not just 3. So -3 means to go down, yeah? Or goes to, well, you can see what it does. Enter. Okay, so there's the start of my barrel. Now I need to do this bracket on the side here for my servo. So I'm going to start a sketch, and my sketch needs to be on this plane here, the same plane as the edge of that barrel. So clicking on the edge of the barrel, and I want it to be under here. So I'm going to start by drawing a rectangle, in fact 2 rectangles. I'm just going to draw the rough shape, not worrying about dimensions. I'm going to do another rectangle here, and I'm going to worry about the dimensions in a minute. I'm going to put my circles, my holes here. These are my screw holes. So let's do that. And this one here as well, like that. Now press escape. Now I'm going to start to dimension it up. Okay, so D for dimensions. The size of those holes, they need to be 2 millimeters. So I'm going to type 2 there. And you know what? I want that one also to be 2 millimeters, but I want them to be the same. So I'm going to click on equals. And I'm going to say that one has to be equal to that one. Well, that didn't work. That one and that one. Still didn't work. Let's escape a few times. Escape, 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 escape. Let's try again. Equals that one and that one. Okay, that's worked. I don't know what happened there, but if something doesn't work, just escape half a dozen times so that you're out of any mode that you might have been in, and go again. Okay, so I'm just going to move that out of the way a little bit. So that's 2, that's good. Now, I also want these 2 here to be horizontally aligned. See, at the moment I can move that one and it's separate to that one. So if I click on, if I escape, okay, if I click on that tool again, center point there, now they're horizontally aligned. So now if I move one of them, the other one moves as well. Okay, looking at my dimensions again. So D, this needs to be here. That needs to be 2 millimeters from that line there. So I'm going to put 2 there. And that one there, actually it doesn't say on my drawing, but let's make it symmetrical. So that's 2 there as well. And let's see, what do we want? We want between there and there, that needs to be, according to my diagram, according to my drawing, 4.4. And this one here also needs to be between there and there. That's 4.4. These have got to be the right dimensions so that the servo fits in here. And let's see, this between here and here needs to be 23.2, like that. And between there and there, that distance needs to be 12.1. Looking at my drawing again. And you know what? The distance between here and here, my drawing doesn't say, but I think it would make sense to make that 4.4, wouldn't it? So that this whole bracket is 4.4 thickness the whole way around. Okay, now these here, let's see, what haven't I done there? I've got to go between there. Actually, no, escape, escape, escape. I'm going to go D for dimension between there and there. That needs to be, according to my drawing, that needs to be 6. So get those dimensions right, because they've got to be the right size so that this hole and those mounting holes are all the correct size for your servo. Okay, E for extrude, and we're going to click on that body there, rotate it around a little bit, and we want to pull it back this way. So you can see that's in the negative direction. Now, I think 4 is good. So, you know what? I could either move it till it says 4. You might have to zoom in to do that, or I can just type -4 there, enter, and there we go. There's one bracket for our servo done. All right, next thing I want to do is I want to put this bracket for the axle. So if I click, let's see, actually I didn't need to do that. If I come up here and create sketch, and I want to put a sketch on that side there, and I'm going to start by putting a hole, and I want a hole, I don't know, here somewhere. Now I want that hole, let's just go like that. And, you know, to escape. I'm going to dimension that hole, because that hole needs to be, actually I missed, hang on, escape, escape, escape. Let's try again. D for dimension, D for dimension. I tried to draw another circle, don't do that. So D for dimension, make that needs to be 2.3. My axles, or the axles that we're going to use, are 2 millimeters thick, and I want a bit of clearance so it can easily move. So 2.3 millimeters is a good number. Okay, I'm going to do C for circle. I'm going to draw another circle here. I'm going to make that maybe, I don't know, let's say 7 millimeters. And I'm going to draw a line. So I'm going to come up here and click on line, or L for line. That'll do the same thing. And I'm going to click from the center there up to here, like that. Now that line there, I'm going to escape. That's not actually a line. That's not going to be the edge of my shape. That's like a center line. I'm going to use that as a construction line. So if I click on that and I press X, that turns it, see how it's now dotted? So that's a construction line. I'll show you why I want to use that in a minute. So I'm going to do another line, L for line, and I'm going to go from here somewhere, anywhere, don't care where, to the edge of that circle, like that. Now, D for dimension. I'm going to say between there and there, that needs to be, well, 7.5 looks all right. I might even go a little bit wider. I might make that 8, just going by eye. Now, what's happened here, this line here isn't quite a tangent to that circle. I want it to be a tangent to that circle, so it just kisses the edge of the circle. So to do that, I use the tangent constraint. So tangent, and then I select a circle, and I select a line, and now can you see that's a tangent? It just kisses the edge of the circle like that. Okay, escape. Now what I want to do is I want to mirror that line there. I want to do exactly the same thing on this side. So I could go and repeat what I just did, or I could do a mirror function here. So I click mirror there, or if I go create mirror there, either way, then I want to mirror, it gives me this dialog box. The object that I want to mirror is this one here. And now if I click select, I want to use this as the mirror line. And there you go, when I click that, can you see it creates a mirror? So that object there has been mirrored using that as the mirror line. So I'm going to go OK. And there we go. So it's perfectly symmetrical. Now, the beauty of doing that is if I came up here and if I changed that 8 to 9, it would change both sides, not just the one side. So I only have to make one change to fit both sides. Okay, I'm ready to extrude now. So E for, oh no, I'm not, because that there, see how it's blue? It can still move. So in fact, if I grab that circle center there, that center can move all over the place, can't it? So I'm not finished yet. I need to put a couple more dimensions in. So D for dimension, I'm going to say between that center point there and that line there, I'm going to make, oh, I didn't like that, escape, doing escape again. Dimension between, let's try between that line there and that center point there. At the moment it's 13, yeah, I'm going 14. I'm going to go 14. I don't want it, if I put it all the way up here, then this bracket and the base is going to get, it's going to bump onto this bracket here, and I don't want that. So I want this center point to be fairly low down. So 14 I think is good. Now I also need to select, let's see, maybe let's say that center point there to that line there. Let's make that dimension. 13 doesn't look terrible, does it? 12. What does 12 look like? Yeah, I'm going to go with 12. Okay, so we'll do that. 12. It's really up to you, but I think 12 looks pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to extrude. See how everything's black here? So that sketch there is fully constrained, and that's always best practice to fully constrain your sketches. You don't have to actually, but it's better if you do. Okay, E for extrude, I'm going to say that section there and that section there, and I want to extrude backwards like that. And how far do I want to go? Well, let's just use my cube here. I actually want to make it to come back to exactly to line up with that surface there. And over here, my extrusion at the moment is to go a certain distance. Instead of going a certain distance, I want it to extend to an object. So if I click there to object, now I can click on that's the object that I want it to go to. And can you see now it's gone so that it's exactly lined up with the back of that there. So I go OK. Oh, now while I'm extruding, let me have a look. There are a few different types of extrudes. I could do a new body extrude if I wanted, but that would make this extrusion here a separate body to that. I don't want to do that. I want them to be joined. So I'm going to use a join extrude. Okay, that was what it selected by default. So yours should be as well. Okay, like that. And let's click on home so we can see what it looks like. That's pretty good. Now, I want to do that same thing on the other side, but there's a shortcut. Instead of going and doing all of that I just did, I'm going to create a mid-plane through the middle of this barrel, and I'm just going to mirror that. So if I construct a plane, I want to construct a mid-plane like that, and I want it to be halfway between that plane and that plane. So can you see what it's done there? It's created a plane that's halfway between those two planes, and it's parallel with those two planes. So I'm going to click OK, because I'm going to use that as my mirror to mirror that bracket that I just created. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to create mirror like that, and I'm going to select, now object type. I've only got one body. Look here, so that's the body. My barrel has only got one body. I don't want to mirror the whole body. I only want to mirror a particular feature. So that feature there that I just created, that's a feature, and that's the one I want to mirror. So I'm going to go, so select that feature. So I'm just going to click on that feature there. And it sort of looks like it's selected everything, but if I rotate around, I can see, no, it's actually selected that feature there. And it's selected a little bit more. I don't care, it's selected a little bit more. Probably because I didn't put a line across here in my sketch. But you know what, that doesn't matter. So I'm going to come over, or actually I'm just going to stay like that. I'm going to click on mirror plane. And so which mirror plane do I want? I want that plane to be the mirror plane. That's the one I just created, that mid plane. So if I click on that, and you can see it's giving me a preview of what it's going to look like. Although this is going to do something weird. If I click on OK now, that wasn't really what I wanted, was it? Fusion's tried to be a little bit too clever, and it's tried to say, oh, I can see what you want. You want one big bracket like that. No, I don't. So let's go and revisit that. Down here, we haven't talked about this yet. This is the timeline, and this timeline shows all the steps that you did to create the object. And I can go back in time and make changes to anything I want. So this is the last thing I did, the mirror. So I'm going to double click on the mirror, and we'll do the mirror again. This time, instead of doing adjust, I don't want it to adjust my mirror because it thinks it knows better. I want it to be identical to this object here. So if I click OK, there we go. That's what I really wanted. Fusion's actually pretty clever, and often its automatic adjustments are pretty good. And you'll go, oh yeah, that's what I wanted. But this time I don't. All right, I don't need to see that plane anymore, so I'm just going to hide it. So let's see, that's my barrel. Let's just close the origin. That's the body, that's construction. So that's the plane that I just constructed. So if I click here, it hides it. So it's still there. Now I can still select it, but when it's not selected, it's hidden, so I can't see it, which is good, because I don't want to see it anymore. Okay, let's come over to this side, and I want to create over here, I want to create another bracket for my servo. So I'm going to do that really quickly and in fast motion, because you've already seen how to do that. I'll get started in slow motion, and then I'll go quickly. So click there and there, because I want the sketch to be on this side. Okay, and let's go. I'm going to do a rectangle. Again, between there and, I don't know, there-ish, and another one like that. Hang on, let's just do that again. Yep, another one like that. And then I'm going to do a circle there, and another circle there, and escape. Now I'm going to dimension that to be 2, enter, escape. I want that to be equal to that. That's worked. And I want them to be horizontally aligned. That horizontally aligned to that. Dimension again. That to that is 2. That to that is 2. Let's see. That to that is 4.4. That to that is 4.4. That to that, we said we were going to make 4.4 as well. 4.4. Okay, that to that is supposed to be 23.2. What are we missing? From there to there needs to be 12.1. 12.1, like so. Okay, what have I missed? To there. Ah, you know what I've missed? Okay. Oh, there's a few things I've missed. D for dimension again. That to that has got to be that distance there. What did we say that was? Let me put that out of the way. Actually, I'm going to put that over here. Dimension from that one to that one. And we said that one was supposed to be 6. But, okay, escape. All these things are still blue, and they're blue because if I grab them, I can see I can still move them backwards and forwards like that. I can't move them up and down, but so let's now D for dimension there to there. I think on the other one we said that was going to be there. Escape, escape, escape. D there to there. I think on the last one we said that was 13, didn't we? Yeah, I think we did. Okay, fully constrained. Good. E for extrude. Click on that section there, and I want to extrude that too. I want it to go parallel with that edge there. So I'm going to go to object, to that object there. Zoom in a bit so I can select it. Yeah. It's join, extrude. Good. Okay, let's go back to home and see what it looks like. That looks pretty good. All right, so that's our barrel done. It's time to save again. So click save. Now when you save, it allows you to add descriptions. So I'm going to say barrel complete. Well, you know what? Barrel done. I can't spell tonight. Okay, barrel done. Okay, so the barrel's done. So when I look at my versions, it'll tell me where I was up to for each version, and I can actually go back to different save points, which is pretty handy. All right, what I want to do now, you know what? We could do fillets in here using that. I'm going to skip that, otherwise this video is going to take too long. So I'm skipping fillets. If you know how to do fillets, you can experiment, use that and make some of these edges nice and filleted. I'm not going to do it, just for the sake of time. Okay, now that's my barrel finished. I want to make a new component now. Now I don't want my new component, I don't want my base to be inside the barrel. I want both of the barrel and the base to be inside this high level component, top level component. So I'm going to activate that component. Then I'm going to create a new component, and I'm going to call it my base. Base, like that. Okie doke. And oh, my barrel's gone all see-through. And that's because my barrel is not actually activated. And that's good. That's what we want. Okay, now to draw my base, I'm going to start. Even though my barrel's not activated, I can still use it for positioning things, which is good because I want to position my base in the right spot so that it's perfectly lined up with the holes in my barrel. So let's start by doing that. So with my base activated, I'm going to click on Create Sketch, and I'm going to choose this surface here, the side of my barrel, to start. That's where I'm going to start building my base. And I'm going to start by building a circle. So if I just come in here and click there, and you know what? Let's just make it, actually escape. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do a thing called project. So P for project. Project means I'm going to take some geometry from one object and I'm going to project it into my sketch. So what I'm really saying is take a copy of that circle and bring that into my sketch for my for the axle or for the hole for my base. Okay, so okay, and that's done. And you can see it's purple because it's projected. I didn't actually draw it, but it's now in my sketch, which is good. Okay, now I'm going to do C for circle, and I'm going to use that center point there, and I'm going to bring my circle out to, so it snaps with that circle there, and that's 7 millimeters. In fact, I'm going to go D for dimension and just dimension that as 7 millimeters, which would like that, 7 millimeters. So now it's black. That's good. That's fully constrained. Okay, now I'm going to create a construction line. So I'm going to come up here for line, or L for line if I want, and I'm going to click on that center circle there and come down. I'm going to come down about there, escape, and you know what? I'm going to give it a dimension. D for dimension. I'm going to say that is going to be, let's go 35. I think that'll work. Now, I'm going to do escape again, escape a few times. That line there, that's not going to be the edge of my base. That's a construction line. So I'm going to click that line and press X to turn it into a construction line, or I could have clicked here to do the same thing. Now I'm going to draw my base, the side of my base. So let's see, I'm going to go L for line again, and I'm going to click between that, somewhere on the edge of that circle there. Yeah, somewhere on the edge of that circle there. I'm going to come out here. Now, actually, here's a little trick. I want my line to be exactly lined up with that point there. So if I come and hover over that point, I'm not clicking on it. What I'm doing is I'm telling Fusion that that's the point of interest. So now when I come over here, see how it'll help me line up with that point because I hovered over it. So if I come over here, actually I don't want to go all the way over there. I want to come in here somewhere. So let's click like that. And then I'm going to come in here and click here. And because they're perfectly lined up, when I click there, see that's put a perpendicular constraint in there. It says that's a right angle. That's good. Okay, escape. Now let's see, I want to size this a little bit. So if I go D for dimension, I'm going to say that size there is, let's just make it 18 exactly, like that. It doesn't really matter what it is, but that looks about right. And I'm going to do my mirror trick here. Have I showed you the mirror? I can't remember. I'm going to do a mirror. Yes, I did, because I did the mirror there, didn't I? Let's do a mirror. So click here or create mirror, either way. Which object? I want to mirror that line there. Actually, I want to mirror that line there and that bottom line there that I created. So I want to mirror both of those. And my mirror line, I'm going to use that as the mirror line. See what that does? Beautiful, eh? Okay. Okay. Now, actually, if I come in here, one thing I didn't do is I didn't tangent those. Actually, I've drawn it so it's pretty close to a tangent, but it could be, see how it's not fixed anywhere? So let's make them a tangent so that that line just kisses the edge of the circle. So let's go escape, escape, escape. So I'm not doing anything. Tangent, click that circle and that line. And did you notice that when I did this side, the mirror also did it because it's a mirror, so it'll just always mirror that side. So that's good. All right, see how mirrors save you time? Okay, now I'm going to extrude. Extrude, so I'm going to click that and that. Now we have to be careful. Let's zoom right in. See those little sections there? We need to extrude those as well. So that side and that side. Okay, but not the hole, because we want the hole to be a hole for the axle. Now, let's see, how far do we want to go? I'm going to move around like that. I want to come out this way, and I want to come out 3. So I'm just going to type 3, enter. Okay, and if I click on home, my home view, so I can see, that's good. All right. Now, I could do that all again, or I could use a mirror. Let's use a mirror, because obviously that's nicer. So let's go create mirror. Mirror like that. And what do I want to mirror? I can mirror a whole body. Actually, in this case, I do want to mirror a whole body because that is a body. So you see under base, that if I click on that, that's the body. That's my whole body there. So if I click on bodies, because I want to mirror the body and select the body, I can select it here or I can select it here. It doesn't matter. Let's select it here just for fun. And the mirror plane, well, you know what? I want to use that mid plane. Remember I put that mid plane in there before? I could use that same mid plane. It's not in my base, but that's okay. I can come up to my barrel here and I can come down and find that plane. It's hidden, but that's okay. I can still choose it. If I can unhide it temporarily to see it. Don't have to unhide it. I can just choose it like that. Can you see how that's beautiful? Now that's created what hasn't created yet. It's penciled it in. It'll create it when I click over here. Now, I want this, it can't join. It's showing me join, but it'll give an error if I choose join because it can't join these two yet because they're separate. So new body's good. So see how I've got one body here under my base at the moment? When I click OK, now I've got two bodies. There's that body and that body. Those two bodies there. All right, I guess now what I want to do, I want to put a circular base on the bottom. So I'm going to come down here underneath and I'm going to create a sketch on the bottom of that one there. Actually, it's on the plane that's on. So you know what? I'm going to choose, I really want to find the center of all that. So let's do a little trick here. I'm going to choose line, L for line, and I'm going to go, see how I come along this line here and see how if I get near the middle, it goes to a triangle. That's saying that that's the midpoint. So I'm going to pick that midpoint there and that midpoint there. Oh, I can't. Okay, here's another trick. Escape, that's not going to work yet. I need to project those shapes into my sketch so that I can use them, the midpoints. So P for project, So I want that whole shape there and that whole shape there. I want them projected into my sketch so I can use them. So, okay, now let's try that again. Line, let's see, the midpoint of that to the midpoint of that. That's good. And then I want also, actually that'll do, you know. There's a midpoint there. So I can, I'm not sure if I can use that. Let's try. If I create a circle, can I use that midpoint? Yeah, I can. So I'm going to use the middle of that line. Actually, but before I do that, hang on, escape. I want that to be a construction line. So click on it and click X to make it dotted. I didn't really have to do that, but it's just good practice. I could have just used a normal line. Okay, but now I'm going to create my circle and I'm going to click there and I'm going to come out. How wide do you reckon? Let's go 60. 60 looks good. 60. Okay, that's my base. Now, at the moment, that's just a sketch. So let's extrude it. E for extrude. Let's click on that. Oh, look at this. We've got to be careful to click on those bottom bits as well, like that and that. Okay, and now we're going to extrude down. And we're going to extrude down by, I think 3 millimeters is enough. Don't want to use too much 3D filament. Now, can you see here? I could create another new body. If I did that, then I'd have 3 bodies in my base, but a better option to use is join. So when I use join, it's going to join that base to these 2 bodies. So these 2 bodies here will be joined by that new body, I guess, and that all 3 of them will become one. So that will become one, that will become one, and this new one, all combined, will be one. So, okay, and there we go. Now we've just got the one body. Our base is one body. That's good. Alrighty, so we're almost done. I just need to create the little bracket here for the paper clip to go into to connect to the servo arm. So let's do that. Create a sketch on that top surface there. And let's make a little rectangle. I'm going to use my center rectangle. Okay, R for rectangle, center rectangle. And I'm going to just pick a point in there. Don't care exactly where it is. And like that. Let's go D. Let's dimension it. I'm going to we'll make it 4 mils wide. And let's see, we'll make it, let's make it, don't need 16 surely, 12. Okay, that's good. Now we want that center point there and that center point there. We want them to be, I think I want it a little bit further over here. So I'm going to let's make it, see what 15 looks like. 15, I think 15 looks pretty good. That's not, it might go a little bit more. Let's go, just double click, let's make that 18. Yeah, 18. Okay, let's go with 18. Okay, now this is still, if I do escape to get rid of my dimension, can you see this is still wobbly? So I need to do, what do I need to do? I need to do this constraint here and say that aligns with that. Did that work? That aligns with that. I'm going to escape a bunch of times and try again. Okay, that and that. That's got it. Okay, escape. All right, so I'm ready to extrude that, I guess. So E for extrude, and take that and extrude it up by, how far are we going to go? Let's go 6 should be enough, I think. Let's go 8 to be sure. Okay, 8. Now I need to put some circles, some holes through it. I'm going to create 2 holes. So I'm going to do create sketch and click on there like that. And that's a pain. The sketch is hiding behind there, isn't it? So here's a little trick I can use. I can do a slice, and it slices so everything in front of that has been sliced through. So that's still my plane there that I'm drawing on, but it's sort of sliced away the stuff that's in the way so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to click on circle. I'm going to put 2. Let's zoom in a bit. I'm going to put 2 circles there, 1 there and 1 there. And let's do my normal circle thing. I'm going to escape. I'm going to dimension them. D for dimension. Let's make it, I think maybe 3 millimeters should be plenty. It's just got to be big enough to poke a paperclip through. Let's escape a few times. Otherwise the equals doesn't seem to work. Equals, that one's got to be equal to that one. And they've also got to be aligned horizontally. Okay, and let's do D for dimension again. And let's dimension between here and the top. How far do you reckon? 4 looks pretty reasonable. 4 like that. And you know what? I've got to go between here and here. And that's got to be, let's try 3. And let's put 3 over here. Now, you know what? I could have done a mirror thing there, couldn't I? Never mind. This will do 3. What do you reckon? Does that look all right? That's there 3, that's 3, that's 3 there. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty good. All right, let's finish that sketch there. And that's still a sketch. We've got to make those circles into holes. So again, that's another extrude. E for extrude. Actually, I didn't need to finish the sketch. I could have just done E back then, but that's okay. So I'm going to extrude that hole and that hole. Now again, I could bring them out. If I bring them out this way, can you see that that makes them into sort of like bumps? I don't want that. I want them to go back, and I want them to be holes. You can see when I come back here. See, if I come out here, it makes them a join extrude. But if I push them back this way, then they're a cut extrude. They're cutting. Okay, and again, how far do I want to go? I want to go to object. I want to go to the back of that object there like that. Okay, all right. Okay, and we are good. So I can't help myself. I've got to just fillet that. Okay, so I'm going to go fillet that corner and go maybe, what do we go, 3? Yeah, that looks pretty, that's better, isn't it? Let's do that. Okay, and again, you could, if you want to get fancy, you can go and fillet some more stuff to just make it. Fillets actually don't just look better, they actually make it stronger. So it is good practice to do lots of fillets. Just don't fillet these corners in here. That needs to be a square, otherwise your servo won't fit in there. But all the other corners, especially like, let's see, that edge there and that edge there and that edge there, that would be nice if they were fillets. But anyway, I'm not going to do that because we're out of time. Okay, so if I come back up here and activate the whole thing there like that and click away somewhere, there we go. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm just going to join everything together. So I've activated this top level component. That's important. Now I'm going to create a joint. In fact, I'm going to create, if we look at assemble here, there's different types of joints. If I don't put a joint, then what happens is I can grab that and move it. And oops, now it's not lined up and I'll never be able to get it quite back where I want it. So what I'm going to do before I do anything is I'm going to go position and revert position. Put it back to where it was. I said you couldn't put it back, didn't I? But you can a bit. But let's lock that position in, shall we? So the first thing I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to reactivate the base. So reactivate the base. And I'm going to right click on base and ground it. That means that this base can't move. It's grounded. It's sort of solid. So now I'm going to come back up here and select the whole rubber band artillery cannon, the top level component, and I'm going to add a joint. Now, I can do two types of joints. I can do a joint or a as-built joint, J or Shift J. I'm going to do an as-built joint. So click there or do Shift J. So when you do a joint, what you do is you connect the component, the sort of the movable component, and then you connect the component, and then you select the component. Actually, that's already done. Let me just undo that again. So first you select the component that's going to move, then you select the component that's going to be, this component is going to be connected to, and you've got different types of joints. Rigid, I could make rigid, then nothing could move. Let's be fancy and do a revolute joint. So if I click on revolute, and then where it says snap, if I click on this circle here, that means that circle sort of becomes the axis that the whole thing can revolve around. So if I click there, can you see what it can do? That's pretty cool, isn't it? All right. And you can click here and preview the motion. And there's some other fancy things you can do as well, but that will do us. So I'll go okay, like that. And now you should be able to see, I can actually grab that and see how that moves now. And isn't that cool? And you can see the joint. Let's hide the joint. If I come up here and hide joints, done. Now it goes like that. And I can always return it to its home position by clicking position, revert position, like that. Okay, almost done. We've got to 3D print these. So the way to do that is we go utilities and then make, and then we select the body. So that's the body that I'm going to print, like that one there. And I'm going to make sure send to 3D print is not selected. And what's going on here? Why is that not working? Because, is that selected? Let's try again. Select that. Okay, that's working. So that body's selected. I'm going to go okay. And here we go. So body, let's give it a name. We're going to call it, that's the barrel. There's the barrel. It's an STL file. I don't want to save it to the cloud. I want to save it to my computer. That's going to save in my downloads folder. Click save. I've done this a few times before, so I've already got a file called barrel.stl, but I'm going to overwrite that. Yours probably won't do that. Okay, so that's that one. Then I'm going to make again. This time I'm going to select my base, and I'm going to click OK. And in a moment, when it wakes up, I'm going to call that base. So the file will be called base.stl, and it's also going to be in my downloads. So save that. And I've already done this before, so I'm going to replace the one I did before. All right, now I've got my two STL files. I can put them onto a USB stick. I can take them to my slicer, and we can slice them, and we can 3D print them for you, and you can make it. All right, that'll do. Hope you enjoyed that.